Hello everybody and welcome to Euro TV News. I'm sure many of you listen to music every day, but how well do you know the subject? Let's see it through the evolution of British music. The evolution of British music is an interesting journey that reflects the rich cultural legacy and the social changes over the years. It has begun from traditional folk and classical music. It has changed through genres like rock, punk or pop. The 60s saw the British invasion with iconic bands as the Beatles was. The following decades introduced different styles like electronic and indie rock, showing changes and innovation. Today, British music continues to influence artists around the world, but let's look over this evolution through 4 different genres.
First, reggae. It's a musical genre developed by Jamaicans of African ancestry in the late 60s. Reggae bands incorporate musical idioms from many different genres, including mento, ska, rocksteady, calypso, and American soul music, rhythm, and blues. We will talk about reggae through the most influential artists at the golden age of reggae. One of the most important bands, Bob Marley and the Wailers. They had a huge influence in Britain, especially in the 70s. Their music resonated with Afro-Caribbean communities and young British people, especially in London neighbourhoods, where reggae was linked to social and racial struggles. The album Catch a Fire marked a turning point in 1973, introducing Marley to a wider audience. Reggae has become a resistance music in Great Britain. Next, UB40. Formed in Birmingham in 1978, they have been hugely successful with their mix of reggae, pop and ska. Their first album, Signing Off, marked a turning point in the British reggae scene, including hits such as Red Red Wine and Kingston Town. The band has helped make reggae accessible to a global audience while remaining true to its Jamaican roots. At last, Steel Pulse. Also formed in Birmingham in 1975, Steel Pulse is one of the UK's most famous and influential reggae bands. Their music mixes classic reggae with dub and punk influence. They have managed to capture a large audience in England and worldwide. The album N-Worth Revolution is a classic of British reggae.
Pop music is a genre of popular music that emerged during the mid-50s in the United States and the United Kingdom. During the 50s and 60s, pop music encompassed rock and roll and the youth-oriented styles it has influenced. Pop and rock were similar until the late 60s, after which pop became associated with music that was more commercial, ephemeral and accessible. Nowadays, pop music is still popular, but what about this genre in the United Kingdom? Let's see it. What would be the British artist without talking about Adele? Adele is considered as a British icon with a mezzo-soprano vocals and a sentimental songwriting. With songs as Rolling in the Deep and Easy on Me, she has marked the 2010th and she still shines like a star. Her song Skyfall could have been heard in the movie James Bond as it is the soundtrack. Going years back, a British artist appears on our way. Born Reginald Kenneth Dwight, Elton John is an intergenerational singer. His title I'm Still Standing is known by almost everyone. Also, he is the one who sang the King Lion soundtrack, Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Known for his participation in The X Factor and for being one of the former members of the group One Direction, Zayn Malik has received as a solo artist many accolades, including an American Award and MTV Video Music Award. He has marked the 2010th with hits as Dust Till Dawn featuring Sia, Pillow Talk, and also I Don't Wanna Live Forever featuring Taylor Swift.
Rock is a broad genre of popular music that originated as rock and roll in the United States in the late 40s and early 50s, developing into a range of different styles from the mid-60s, particularly in the United States and the United Kingdom. I will introduce you to the rock artists who made history forever. First, Pink Floyd. Formed in London in 1965, they became one of the most influential rock bands in history. Their sounds evolved from psychedelic rock to more experimental and progressive styles with iconic albums such as The Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here and The Wall. They are known for their complex composition, philosophical lyrics and pioneering use of studio effects. Then the Beatles. The Beatles, formed in Liverpool in 1960, changed music forever with albums like Sgt. Pepper's and The White Album. They blended innovative sounds with deep lyrics, influencing not just music but fashion, culture and social movements. Their global impact helped define the 60s and revolutionize rock. And last but not least, Oasis. Formed in Manchester in 1991, they led the Britpop movement in the 90s with anthems like Wonderwall and Don't Look Back in Anger. Their guitar-driven sounds, influenced by the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, made them one of the biggest rock bands of the era, capturing the spirit of working-class Britain. Special mention for the Velvet Underground, who influenced the biggest English rock bands.
Jazz is a music genre coming from the African American communities of New Orleans in the late 19th century and the early 20th century. Since the 1920s jazz age, it has been recognized as a major form of musical expression in traditional and popular music. Jazz began to be played by British musicians in the 40s, often within dance bands. Let's zoom on different British jazz artists. In her youth, Amy Winehouse was a member of the National Youth Jazz Orchestra. Despite her early death, she is considered as a great singer with a unique voice that is stuck in your head when you hear her song. Back to Black and Rehab are well known and are still admired. Going a few decades back, we can find Annie Ross, a British jazz artist who died in 2020, but she left to us many songs that are blessings for our ears, like Twisted or A Lot in Living to Do. With her mythical song Smooth Operator and No Ordinary Love, Shade Arrow has entered her name in the list of jazz artists of our time. Emerging in the early 80s, her smooth and jazzy style made her a star.
To sum up, the evolution of music in England through its various genres highlights the country's rich musical heritage and its constant ability to innovate. From the classical foundation of early music through the folk tradition and the rise of popular genres like rock, punk and electronic, England has constantly pushed musical boundaries. Each genre is not only shaped the country's cultural identity, but also influenced global music trends. As new genres continue to emerge, the diversity and adaptability of English music will likely remain a defining characteristic, ensuring its lasting impact on the global music scene. See you soon on Euro TV News.